So tomorrow on September 21st, we will be experiencing the new moon in Virgo, so solar partial eclipse. And so this eclipse is asking you one big question. What are you finally ready to let go of so that you can heal and move forward? Okay. This Virgo new moon partial solar eclipse is a powerful reset point. And when it comes to your divorce recovery, this energy is going to be especially supportive for you in getting grounded, in healing and rebuilding your life with intention, because it is a new moon. Okay. And so in this video, I'm going to talk about some ways that you can work with this energy so that you can move forward in a positive, more beneficial way. Okay. And so real quick, if you are new to me or to the channel, hello and welcome. My name is Katrice and I am the Natal Chart Navigator. And on this channel, I teach divorced women how to use astrology to help them to rebuild their lives and move through the 6 stages of divorce with more grace and ease. Okay. And so if you are returning, you're a returning navigator. Hello and welcome back. Okay. All right, so let's jump into it. So first, before we get into like actually talking about, some things that you can do to work with this energy, the reason that this is so powerful is because the South Node is attached to this new moon. Okay, so it's kind of like weird with this Virgo new moon, because the South Node it represents your karmic past, and it also represents the patterns, the skills, and the experiences that you have already mastered in other lifetimes or earlier in this lifetime. Okay. So it also shows where you feel comfortable because it's familiar energy. Okay, it's something things that you're familiar with. But it can also be where you get stuck, repeating cycles that no longer serve your growth. Now, this is a Virgo new moon. Okay, and so new moons are, times of new and new beginnings, right? It's where you set intentions for things that you want to see come about into fruition, so that when the Virgo full moon comes around 6 months later, during Pisces season, you will have seen some movement or some growth on the new intentions that you set. Okay, so with this new moon, not only are you going to be letting go of things, but you're also going to be setting intentions. So there's been a lot of letting go going on in the month of September, which is why September has been such a transformative month. It is the 9th month of the year, and 9 represents endings and completions. Okay, so what is it that you need to let go of in your life, not just related to the Virgo area of your chart, but just in life in general? What are some things that you need to let go of, right? In order for you to have the space and the capacity for you to plant the new seeds of new things that you want to see in your life. Okay. Now, some core meanings for the South Node are past life energy or karma. And so these are the traits, the habits, and the tendencies that you have carried into this lifetime. Your comfort zone, which is where you naturally feel at ease, but where you growth will not, you'll be stagnant in your growth if you continuously operate there. Talents and skills. So these are the abilities that you've already developed that can be used to support your purpose now. And then release point. And so these are the behaviors, the attachments, or the outdated patterns that you are being asked to let go of. Okay. So the South Node is like your suitcase of past experiences. The North Node is the destination, or where you are moving towards. Okay. And so you don't throw away your suitcase, but you also don't live in it. So, you take the experiences from your South Node and you move with that to your North Node, towards your North Node's compass. Okay. So we have South Node in Virgo, North Node in Pisces. And so you've mastered details, you've mastered service, you've mastered analysis, you've also mastered control. Okay. Because Virgo has this tendency of always wanting to be in control, right? Pisces is surrender and trust and spiritual flow, right? And that is where your growth is. So with this North Node, South Node axis, it's asking you to let go of control, right? Because that is really what the key thing is to let go of control and to move, open to, and embrace, move towards and open yourself up and embrace surrender, trust, and spiritual flow. And that can be scary, and I'm speaking truly from as a Virgo Sun, Virgo Venus, always wanting to be in control, always wanting to have some type of a plan. My plans never had to be super detailed, but I do need some type of a plan, some type of a structure, and I need things to go according to that plan. And so when things have not moved, according to that plan, especially when I was in the thick of my divorce recovery, things definitely did not go according to plan. And it was really hard for me to trust that everything was going to work out. And I would tell myself, it always works out in the end. But as you're going through it and you can't see what the outcome is going to be, it's very hard for you to trust that everything is going to work out. And so this eclipse axis, this nodal axis, is truly on letting go of control and really embracing trust and surrender. Okay. So for this new moon in Virgo, Virgo is the sign of healing, of order, and of practical self-care, right? And so all this month we've been talking about self-care. If you missed the Astrology After Dark class on the 6th house, it is up on the channel. You can go and look at those. We went over the 6th house, the signs on the 6th house, and also if you have planets in that house. So you want to go and take a look at that, because when it comes to your physical health, the 6th house is the first place that you want to look, if you're looking at your health. And when it comes to your divorce recovery, your health is really important, because you have to make sure that you are, maintaining your physical health so that you can, be strong physically to help you to deal with the emotional, to deal with the things that you need to do in your life, especially if you have children. You have to try to make sure that you are taking care of you so that you can be strong to take care of your babies. So, go and check out that for the sixth house, because it has a lot of information, especially if you are wanting to focus on your health. Then you definitely go check out the sixth house, those lives. Okay. But you during this eclipse, you want to embrace Virgo's healing energy. Okay. So Virgo is the sign of healing, of order, and practical self-care. It's a very analytical sign. It is ruled by Mercury. And so this eclipse highlights where you need to clean up or reorganize or release habits, or release mental patterns, or thoughts that no longer serve you. Okay. And so you want to begin with your daily routines. Okay. You may have a routine that's not very productive at the moment. Okay, and so you may want to look at, okay, where can I, clean that up? Where can I make my routine just a little bit more productive? So things like, and even if you can't, depending upon what you have going on or where you are on your divorce recovery, you may want to look at, where can I kind of like, you may be doing a little too much, right? You may be being a little too overproductive in your day-to-day, and you're not leaving time for self-care. Okay. And so you may be needing to figure, okay, where can I put in pockets of self-care for me? Because you have to remember, if you are not taking care of you, eventually you're not going to be able to take care of anybody else. Okay. So small things like journaling or stretching or mindful meals can create stability when everything else feels uncertain. One thing that really helped me when I was going through my divorce recovery was cooking. And there were, like, at the beginning, cooking was something that some days it just didn't happen because I couldn't get out of bed. I was like emotionally drained, and when you're emotionally drained, it does affect your physical. And so cooking didn't happen. But as I started moving through my recovery and I was, feeling better emotionally, cooking really helped me on the days when, I just needed something to ground me. When I felt, when I didn't feel grounded. Cooking was that one thing that I could do that really helped to ground me. Okay. Virgo energy thrives on practicality. Okay. So don't overwhelm yourself with big fixes or big changes. Focus on one change at a time that will support your recovery. Okay. This eclipse is not about doing an overhaul. Okay. Because Virgo is not that type of energy. Virgo is a very detail. It's all about the details. And so if you can make one change, that one change on the long run of being consistent with that change can be monumental for you versus trying to overhaul and change everything. Because as you change that one thing, things start getting better, and it allows you to make another change that you can add on top of that, right? And so it's the little changes, the little minute changes that add up to the big monumental change. Okay. All right. Next thing you want to do is you want to work on releasing perfectionism. Okay. So divorce can also often, and it will have you second guessing yourself. What could I have done differently? If I had $1 for every time I asked that question. And Virgo energy can amplify self-criticism. Let me know in the comments if you have Virgo energy. Are you very self-critical? That's something that I have definitely been working on. I have gotten better over the years, but it's still there. It's still something that I have to consciously work on. But during this eclipse, it's time for you to release that weight. It's time for you to stop saying, what could I have done differently? Okay. Because honestly, it's over. Whether you could have done something differently or not, you can't go back and change it. It is what it is. So focus on the now. It's time to just focus on the now. Okay. So something you can do to help you to release perfectionism is you can write down every should have or could have thought, and then burn or shred the paper as a ritual of release, right? So get all of those out of your head. I should have did this. I should have did that. I could have said this. I could have said that. I could have did this. Get all of it out. Write it on paper, and then it's done, right? You're done. You're done with it. Okay? Burn it, tear it up, however you want to do. And then that signifies you releasing it. Okay? Then replace all the should-haves with things like I am learning, or I am healing, or I am worthy of peace, or my favorite that and you can say this if you want. You can just say, I did the best I could with what I knew in that moment. Okay? Because honestly, that's the truth. You know, if you knew what you knew now, you probably would have done some things differently. However, you didn't know it, and it wasn't meant for you to know it. It was meant for you to go through that so that you could learn, right? And so you did the best you could with what you knew in that moment, in that time. And that's all you can do. And you can't keep beating yourself up for things that happened then that you can't go back and change, right? So let it go. You have to let it go. Can't keep holding on to it, because all it does is it keeps you anchored in that moment, and it does not allow you to move forward. And this eclipse cycle this month was all about letting go of that which we can't change, letting go of that which is keeping us stuck and stagnant, letting go of that which is no longer serving us, and moving forward so that we can grow and evolve. Okay. All right. And then and the next thing that you can do to work with this energy is create space. Okay, both physically and emotionally. So Virgo energy is also about purification and clarity. And so this is a great time to use this energy to declutter, okay? This entire Virgo season has really been about decluttering and purification and cleaning, right? So physically clear out your home of any items that carry heavy memories from your marriage that you no longer want to keep, right? Some people like keeping stuff from their marriage when they were married. Me personally, I got rid of everything. I think I have a few pictures. I think I still have a few pictures, and I'm probably going to end up getting rid of those soon too. But other than that, I got rid of like literally everything. Like when I moved, after we, the divorce, after we did the hearing, because when I filed for divorce, it was right 2020, right as everything, the whole world started to shut down, so the courts had shut down. So in December of that year, they had a hearing, and they were like, hey, we need to start cleaning this stuff up. Do you still want, so you got to get on the Zoom or whatever, or I think it was a phone call we had to do. But anyway, you had to get on and, to see if you still wanted to proceed, with the divorce. And so we got on the call, and I was like, yep, let's do it. And I actually can remember it because I remember it perfectly because it was December 19th. And that was the exact day that Saturn moved back into my 7th house. And the day when I filed divorce, Saturn had just moved into my 7th house like the day before. And I was like, I'm done and I'm going to file. And then Saturn retrograde back out of Aquarius, because I have Aquarius on the 7th house. So it retrograde back out into Capricorn. And so, I did the whole, because everything was shut down. So, I did the last ditch, try to see if we could make this work or whatever, to no avail. And when Saturn moved back into my 7th house, that day was the day we had the hearing. And I was like, yep, let's proceed further. And so then where we were staying then, the lease was up and I wasn't renewing it. And when I moved, I threw away everything. I threw away the bed. I threw away the furniture. I kept nothing but my clothes. I had my clothes, my kids' clothes, my baby's toys. But everything else, it was gone. Like, I kept nothing. Because for me, it was over. It was done. So there was no need for me to keep anything that would have reminded me of the marriage. It was over. Now, I'm not telling you got to throw your furniture away or your bed, none of that. It's really up to you. But you want to, you don't want to hold on to things that are going to bring you sadness or that are going to remind you of that period of your life, especially if it was like a very traumatic period for you. You want to get rid of that stuff. It's no need to hold on to it because you can always get new furniture. It's just material things. You can always get new things, right? But divorce is the end of a chapter, and just holding on to those things, it allows you to grieve. It kind of keeps you stuck in that space, and it doesn't allow you to grieve and move forward. Okay. And then emotionally, you may want to practice some cord cutting meditations or visualizations to release any lingering emotional attachments that you may have. Okay. Now, when it comes to cord cutting and all of that, they say that it, when you do that it, it works. I've heard other people say that, it took them a couple of times. Honestly, I just feel like when it comes to your emotions, it's not a one and done. Because emotions are fluid, right? Especially if you was with this person, this was your husband, or if you're a man and you're watching this, your wife, this was your partner who you thought that you would spend the rest of your life with. And so, then you no longer are with this person, and so there's emotional bonds, and so it's not a one and done. Oh, I did a cord cutting, and so now all the emotions magically disappeared and I'm good. These are things you may need to do multiple times, and don't feel bad if you do need to do it multiple times, because everybody's process is differently, right? Especially whatever energy you have on your fourth house. If you have Aries on the fourth house, it may not take you that long. You may be like, it's a done deal. I done moved on. But if you have Scorpio on the fourth house, it's not a done deal, and it's gonna take you a minute. Okay, so and that's okay. But this time frame use this eclipse energy, because it is so powerful and potent. Use this energy to it really can be a one and done. Just set your intentions and really tap into this powerful energy. Okay. Alrighty. All right. And so now, after you've done that, you've cleaned and you've gotten rid of all of that. Now it's time for you to plant seeds for your next chapter, right? So this is where that was the south node part of this eclipse, and now the new moon part of the eclipse is where you're going to set your seeds for the next chapter. Okay, so eclipses are beginnings in disguise, even though they come through as endings. Okay, and so you want to ask yourself, what is it that I want my daily life to look like in this chapter? Okay, now depending on where you have Virgo in in your chart, you could be saying, what do I want my finances to look like in this new chapter? If it is in your second house. If it's your first house, it's like, what do I want my life to look like? If it's your 10th house, what do I want my career to look like? If it's your 7th house, what do I want, when it comes to a relationship, what do I want that to look like, right? And so, what intentions are you wanting to set? Okay, what do you want it to look like in this new chapter, right? Because this is a new cycle that is beginning, okay? What healthy boundaries and routines do you want to establish, okay? And what does wholeness mean for me now, independent of anyone else, okay? And whatever other intentions that you want to set, but these are just a few things that, just to kind of get the wheels turning of what you want to set, what do you want, what do you intend to have, to do, to be with this new moon, okay? Take the time to write these intentions and keep them somewhere visible, somewhere where you can see them all the time. Don't just write them in a notebook that you throw up on the shelf and then you don't look at them again. Keep them somewhere visible where you can see them, okay? Virgo energy supports steady growth through consistent practice, through taking consistent steps, okay? And then you also want to think about the mind-body connection, right? So Virgo energy, as I've said it throughout this whole video, it rules health, okay? It also rules the digestive system, and so tend to your body as a part of your healing. Like I said earlier, you can't take care of others if you're not taking care of yourself, okay? So try, especially if you are wanting to change your health, then try grounding foods, okay? Root vegetables, herbal teas, whole grains, eating whole foods, eating a lot of processed foods, releasing a lot of sugary foods. That's my problem. I like sugar. And really not so much as like cakes and candies, but more so like the sugary drinks. Yeah, it's something that I personally am setting intentions on, is really changing my whole diet, eating a lot better. I talked about it a little bit last night when I was going over the planets in the sixth house. But you also create a simple wellness plan. So maybe walking or yoga or any practice that helps you to reconnect with your body and feel safe in it. After divorce, it can feel hard to not feel safe. It can feel hard to feel safe, I should say. Especially if, there was any abuse in your marriage, emotionally or physically. It can feel hard to feel safe within. And so, that may be something that you are needing to work on, right? Is working on you feeling safe within, internally, because you're not gonna, anything that you are seeking outside of yourself, it has to start within first. So you want to work on you feeling safe within. Remember, your body carries the story of your divorce too. So be gentle as you invite it into healing. Okay, don't try and, like I said earlier, do an overhaul of everything. There may be just little things that you do, to get started, or just one thing that you do to get started. And then as you, progress, you're able to add other little things. And then you start to see a really big change, okay? So an affirmation for this eclipse that you can use if you would like is, I release the past with grace, and I welcome healing, clarity, and the strength to create new foundations for my life. Okay? And so this Virgo New Moon Eclipse is your reminder that healing does not happen overnight. It happens one release, one intention, one small step at a time. And so if you are going through your divorce recovery and you're like, oh my God, it's taking so long, I get it. But remember that it's not a quick one and done process, okay? And this energy is here to help you to clear out the old, to ground into yourself, and to begin building a new life that feels aligned and whole. Okay, so really tap into this energy, into this eclipse. Now the eclipse, they say it's over tomorrow, but it's not over, right? So the eclipse happens tomorrow. I think it's like 3 something in the afternoon Eastern time, and it's not going to be visible in North America, but even though the actual eclipse is happening tomorrow, the effects of the eclipse are going to be, things are going to be happening for like the next 6 months, because it's that super strong, potent energy. So set your intentions and then start taking the steps towards those intentions. And as you take those steps, trust that it's going to all work out for you in the end, okay? All right, so if you have made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate you. And also thank you for allowing this conversation, this topic, to pour into you. And, even if only one part of this video helped you, know that healing has already begun. And so my intention is to help you to navigate your divorce recovery with more clarity, ease, and grace. Okay. And so if you found value in this video, then please do give it a like and share it out with another divorcee that could use some guidance and community while navigating their recovery. Also, drop a comment below and let me know where do you have Virgo in your chart? Where will this eclipse be affecting you in your chart the most? Okay. Now, if you want to continue to learn how you can use the natal astrology healing method for your divorce recovery, and if you want to also be a part of the Understanding You University's Navigators community, then make sure you subscribe and click the bell so that you get notified when I upload new content to the channel. Okay. Now, don't forget, check the description for additional tools and resources like my ebook From Breakup to Brilliance, the Natal Astrology Healing Method, and if you would like to book an energetic calibration reading with me. Okay. And during that reading, I go over the healing houses, the houses of the method, and I give you steps on how to use that energy so that you can really start to tap into who you are energetically and become more aligned with who you are. Okay. All right. And so until next time, remember that divorce is not your ending. It is your initiation into the most powerful version of you. And check out the latest Astrology After Dark on the 6th house, where I talk about the planets. You can check it out here, and I will see you on the next video. Have a good one.